Hey friends, Peggy Hall here from thehealthyamerican.org. Please sign up to get my updates and tips at thehealthyamerican.org. That way I can stay in touch with you in case YouTube takes my channel down. I also am on BitChute under the same name, The Healthy American. And I wanted to share with you today a good friend of mine, another healthy American, someone who is standing on the front lines of freedom. And this is my friend, Tony Roman, who is the owner of Basilicos, Pasta e Vino, and Liberty, which is a wonderful restaurant in Huntington Beach, California. This restaurant has never shut down. It has never allowed masks inside. The workers do not wear a mask. The patrons do not wear a mask. There is no hand sanitizer. There is no limiting the number of patrons. There is no physical distancing. There is none of that nonsense. And I am privileged to be helping Tony in his fight against Governor Newsom, who sent out the strike team to try, how do you like that for the name, strike team, to try to coerce and strong arm and harass and intimidate Tony into following these unlawful edicts.
Welcome again, Truth Helpers. I'm going to read the press release from Basilico's Pasta e Vino restaurant that Peggy Hall was just speaking about. It says, "Make restaurants great again. Together, let's preserve one of the last bastions of true American industry. Basilico's Pasta e Vino versus Governor Gavin Newsom." Gavin Newsom looks to punish California restaurant in defiance of lockdown. Basilico's Pasta e Vino responds, "Officially file charges against us and let's go to trial in front of a jury of our peers." October 15th, 2020. Huntington Beach, California. Basilico's Pasta e Vino, an Italian restaurant in Huntington Beach, California, today is announcing that under the control and direction of Governor Newsom in July 2020, coincidentally 2 days after an unaffiliated Recall Gavin 2020 Petition 10 appeared on the sidewalk near the restaurant, a strike team of agents converged on the restaurant, declaring Basilico's failure to obey the governor's order. Newsom's agents issued a criminal citation to a single staff employee, even threatening to arrest him. This persecution comes with serious consequences, including jail time. They also hit the business with an alcohol beverage control, ABC, administrative action under the same violation, threatening revocation of the restaurant's very valuable and hard-earned liquor license, even though the business has never had a violation in its 21-year history. Basilico's was then warned against further violating the governor's mandates. However, the restaurant continues to operate normally in defiance as it has since the lockdown began in March, with dine-in, no-limit seating, no social distancing, and a ban on masks, all to provide the public with a sanctuary space that still feels like pre-shutdown and vintage-era America, a place the world that we know has seemingly lost. On an important note, not one member of Basilico's staff and no customers who have dined at the restaurant have ever come down with any virus-related illness. Basilico's has remained fully operational, never making any changes according to mandates, in an open confrontation with the governor and his orders as a form of nonviolent protest against what ownership perceives as tyranny imposed on American citizens in the name of a media and politically driven, overblown health crisis. Ownership believes the state shutdown measures are far out of line with the reality of actual epidemiological data, trampling on our constitutional rights, and the only concern among Americans should be the fast-spreading virus of fear. Page 2. The result of Basilico's actions include Snitches and supporters of the governor calling in death threats to ownership, management, and staff with promises to burn the restaurant down, a flood of hateful one-star Google and Yelp reviews, and harassing phone calls, letters, and emails, many boasting about how their mission is to help force the shutdown of the business. However, instead of retreating, Basilicos has taken the fight head-on to mass shamers and lockdown lovers by flaunting their patriotism and resistance to what they refer to as anti-liberty state guidelines. Basilicos proudly flies an American flag side by side a "Don't Tread on Me, Live Free or Die" flag, and post "No Mask Allowed" posters and applicable constitutional amendments on its windows. The business has even erected many billboards outside on the intersection street corners bearing their trademark slogan, "Leave the mask, take the cannoli," their take on the famous quote from the Oscar-winning movie, The Godfather. They also recently put up a giant billboard saying the same near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, California. Basilico's anti-mask policy is because ownership views them as symbols of submission, control, and surrender, and wearing them has emboldened state governments to prolong the lockdowns. Basilicos feels if Americans would have removed their masks long ago, the shutdowns would have gone away with them. The restaurant's Instagram page makes their positions very clear, with both serious posts and many others made with a wink and a smile. Ownership believes that when the state cannot legally confront you head-on, knowing that what it's doing to you and your business is unconstitutional, it then creates what appears to be enforceable law, but in reality, enforceable for lack of lawlessness. So instead, the state uses its government unelected regulatory agencies with no oversight to revoke licenses that allow businesses to legally exist in an attempt to punish opposing views. Basilicos feel strongly that citizens should not tolerate a leader who creates arbitrary rules to force obedience upon them, and that Governor Newsom is leveraging state institutions and mechanisms to orchestrate the submission of all Californians. For those businesses, especially restaurants, who reluctantly did close and are suffering, Basilico hopes they will unite behind their protest. Management has created an organization called Make Restaurants Great Again for this purpose. When Tony Roman of Basilicos first heard of the state's impending lockdown orders, he refused to succumb to panic and surrender precious American freedoms in the way others appeared so easily prepared to do. From that moment forward, he made certain that everything remained normal inside his page 3 doors, refusing to accept what appeared to him as an attempt by the state to use scare tactics to slowly strip American citizens of their liberty. The restaurant had since quickly become to feel like a First Amendment battleground, free speech zone, with people from all over California and even out of state visiting to demonstrate their support, including 2 car clubs out of Long Beach, California, who organized an event at Basilicos back in August. They filled the lot with classic cars and even draped the front of the restaurant with a donated 18-foot American flag. In addition, local veterans charities even coordinated the delivery of a Vietnam-era lifesaver medevac helicopter, parking it next to the restaurant. While some businesses have been deemed essential and others like Basilicos have felt targeted and discriminated against, ownership dug in further in defense of their position. Roman then learned that Governor Newsom had released thousands of convicted criminals onto our streets during the shutdown, even commuting and pardoning convicted murderers. Then he watched Newsom give a speech following violent protests in Los Angeles, showering the protesters with praise, understanding, support, and even adoration, saying such things: God bless you. Keep doing it. Your rage is real. Express it so we can hear it. Let's not let others drown out that rage. After hearing Newsom's twisted hypocrisy, Roman promised his staff, customers, and supporters that their stand against all lockdown orders was non-negotiable. Roman said, any shutdown of this country, especially when fear-based, resulting in forced self-imprisonment, is un-American. So when we were faced with lockdown orders, I immediately thought of our brave soldiers, those who have sacrificed so much, including their lives, for our freedom, and how no American should dishonor them by giving back everything they fought to defend since our nation's founding, all in one instant over a perceived public health emergency, purposed shutdowns, and mask mandates. I knew my stand would put our business interests at risk, expecting retaliation from the state and those who support the shutdowns and mask mandates. However, we felt that our position was about something far greater than preserving a business. Because without liberty and freedom, we are left with nothing anyways, and the brave members of Basilico's staff has stood with me throughout, and I am forever grateful. We view the orders unconstitutional, page 4, as we believe state-ordered lockdowns everywhere have violated at least 2 sections of the U.S. Constitution. Being a first-generation Italian-American, my ancestors didn't come to the greatest country in the world from Italy for their children and grandchildren to live under someone who thinks he's Il Duce Mussolini. Roman continued, Governor Newsom and other government officials like him may believe that we will back down in our fight to protect our civil rights and the democracy our founders had gifted us all. But he would be very wrong, and he should not underestimate our resolve to see this through. We had our first date to appear in court for the criminal case against us on October 7th, when nothing was addressed, and the action against us by the ABC will soon be heard. So with these cases still hanging over our head, we are now publicly requesting that we be officially charged on the criminal action, and our right to a speedy trial by a jury of our peers be granted and scheduled. If the governor truly believes in his authoritarian lockdowns of people and businesses, and is confident that he can prosecute his case successfully, then let's move on with it. Otherwise, drop all actions against Basilicos, Pasta e Vino, and get out of our way so we and all Americans can move on with our lives and run our businesses without interference. 2 prominent California lawyers, John Cogorno out of Orange County and David Hockenfar from Los Angeles, have recently begun their defense of Basilico's constitutional rights in response to the governor's infringement efforts. And that concludes the reading of the press release by Basilico's Pasta e Vino. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy my video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You know the drill. I thank you all so much. Have a great day. I love you guys.